It is here, the GameStop split. The moment we have all been waiting for, opposed to the marketplace opening up. I don't know when the marketplace is going to open. There's some speculation that it would happen on the 14th. I would think that they would just pile on the news and do it tomorrow. But then I also could definitely see a case for them doing it post-split. That way there's not as much confusion with all the stock split and stuff. Not that the marketplace has much to do with that. But from a standpoint of wanting hype, I think they would do it pre-stock split to really capture all of the FOMO. But sometimes companies don't really want that volatility. So they could definitely announce it after. Any date on the marketplace is a complete guess and speculation. But it is here. We split. We will look here at the GameStop website. These are the SEC filings. So it looks like insiders are buying. The CEO, Matthew Furlong, purchased shares on July 5th. And the COO, Patel Vinay, he purchased a lot of shares on the 1st. So this is the 8K for the split. You can see here on July 6th, 2022, GameStop Court issued announcing that the board of directors had approved the split. You will get 4 shares for every 1 share that you have. If you have 100 shares, you now have 400 shares on July 21st. Any share you buy now through July 18th will essentially be 4 shares if you continue to hold them until July 21st. The shorts need to cover. I see a lot of people saying, oh, they're going to tank it tomorrow, this, that. This isn't necessarily true. This is very good news. There's a dividend. The shorts will have to pay the dividend. They do not want to pay a dividend, I promise you. With a company with 0 debt, has a promising, bright outlook, now's the time to cover. I don't know of a better time of when they should be covering this stock unless they think post-split there's going to be a rundown. So I'm not an expert on shorting, but it seems like the shorts backs are against the wall officially. Not a betting, or I am a betting man, and I would not bet against Ryan Cohen. So you can find this, GameStop, SEC filings. Sorry I'm making this video off the cuff. One thing I wanted to go over, this Poker Boom documentary. Amazing documentary. Everybody's suffering in the crypto space. I think if you watch this documentary, it's going to kind of show you a light of what collapses look like. And the poker economy saw a collapse, and I think that documentary really captures it pretty well. Boom and Bet Raise Fold, they're all very good documentaries. Not even if you don't like poker, but just if you want to see kind of what it looks like, all these exchanges keeping the money, kind of what it looks like when that happens in other people's lives as well. So this has happened before to an extent. If we want to look at GME's chart, we can do a little TA. I'm not the most expert TA person. I trade, but I trade on horizontal lines. I don't trade on any fancy indicators. I don't trade on descending wedges and this and that and breakouts. I just trade quick, fast, off horizontal support resistance, and that is what I like to do. I like to keep it as simple as possible. I like seeing these EMAs. I don't necessarily use them. I do know that there are some 1438 or 1348 200 EMA theories out there. ReviewDork or whoever brought them to light. I'm sure they were there before him, but I think that they're getting a lot of light shit on them right now. But I do like this indicator as something to kind of tell me if we're trading above or below a certain level. So if we want to look at this, it looks like my next resistance is at 131.35, 138, and then 145.45. We can go to kind of a macro view, and I do use fib, maybe incorrectly, but I can kind of show you how I personally use fib. From my understanding of what fib is, okay, so let's do this. It is the symmetrical look of the sum of a number plus the previous number. You can look it up and read into it. But allegedly, you see things with Fibonacci in them in nature. The way flowers grow, it is this version of symmetrical of how things are supposed to react throughout nature using the sum of its previous self, I think. I could explain that incorrectly, but I use Fibonacci's to kind of show me retracements. I don't necessarily use it to see how high something can go. That's why you see that I have most of the levels cut out. I don't even think that, I think you could cut out the 0.382, or I could, and just trade off of the 0.5, 618, and the 786, because I like using it as a retracement. So this is going to be your trend line, and this is going to be your Fibonacci retracement using how I use it. I think that you can use it just finding two levels, because it's a symmetrical spread of what something should look like. So even if I did this incorrectly, it still kind of gives me some idea of what retracements should look like. So what I would like to see is probably either just a blast out of here, test 130, 135, bounce back, use it as support, and then break up level to level. I don't necessarily need to see some violent move up unless it's a squeeze, in which, you know, maybe you can offload, you know, a couple shares depending how high it gets, or how at your comfort level. I'm not here to tell you when to buy or when to sell. I can tell you that if you buy, then you're going to get 4 shares in 2 weeks, or you're going to get 4 shares for every one that you buy now in 2 weeks. And so for a lot of people, that's an incentive to buy 1 share now, get 4 in 2 weeks, and sell 1 off. And that's an easy way to get partial ownership of a company that has a great upside. So I do use this Fibonacci. You can see that it kind of respects this 0.5 retracement as a bounce zone. And then for the 382, it did kind of act as some resistance here. So we've broken up through this 382, and this is a macro view on the 4 hour. And depending where we open at tomorrow, we may open above this 200 EMA, which is going to be huge. You know, anytime you're trading above a moving average, usually that's fairly bullish or a sign of a breakout. So these levels, you know, take them with a grain of salt. I don't see us necessarily retracing back down through here. You know, the 115.55 could be an entry point. I bought some 122 calls. I opened up an Interactive Brokers account yesterday. Pretty difficult to use. I accidentally bought a 122 call. I was just trying to figure out how to buy, and so I think I got bailed out on that one. But yeah, so this is the Fibonacci retracement on that. I mean, we may be able to do something like this. I actually think I would prefer to do it like this. This may give us better levels. I think I would prefer to do it like that. This gives us a wider range. So if we look at this on the 4 hour, you can see that it kind of respected some of this 618, not directly, but you know, you do see it kind of getting rejected. These are 4 hour candles again. So you see it, you know, kind of trading around this range, consolidating, rejecting it, going down, coming back up, rejecting again off of the 786, coming back down, breaking through the 786, breaking through the 618, hitting that 131 support, trading across it, and then trading up into the 0.5, rejecting off of that 0.5, the 139, coming back down. So, you know, this Fibonacci, some people may say I drew it wrong. I don't really know. All I know is that if this is a symmetrical pattern, that if you find a bottom level and a top level, that you're going to have it pinned up pretty much correct to some extent. And I think that this speaks for itself, just showing that, you know, we're rejecting exactly off of this retracement here, and then it's trading, you know, right around that 0.5. So I'd love to see a breakout of these levels and travel higher. Only time will tell. Super pumped, super excited. The last thing that I wanted to say is I think that this is a net negative for AMC. I think that AMC will get some sympathy off of it. And this is how I view it. This is my theory alone. But if you look at companies that want to compete with each other, or not necessarily want to compete with each other, but have to compete with each other, you have this GameStop and AMC. And although the community is in pieces divided and in pieces together, a lot of these people hold both of these stocks in a bucket. I was one of them. I got out of AMC completely. I do have exposure through calls. But doing my own DD, I found that GameStop was a better fit for me. A company without debt, a company with a young board, a forward-looking board that is very passionate about being fair to shareholders, very outspoken about corporate greed and how corporate greed ruins people's lives, essentially. I just thought that that was a better fit for me. Once I saw the leadership in AMC, even though they said that they were going to sell and they let us know when they were going to sell, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I should have taken that as a sign. But anyways, I did my own DD. I went with my own gut, and I just decided to go with GameStop. With the split, with the NFT marketplace, I just thought that there was more bullish outcome with that. So what I want to say is GameStop splitting now becomes a direct competitor in price versus AMC. If they move the same, which they don't, GME is only down 17 to 19% on the year. AMC is down 50% on the year. So that argument is false. And I'm not hammering AMC. AMC is the company that got me in this movement. I got in this movement through Trey, through watching him pre-AMC. But that was when I got very interested in the stock market. So I'm grateful that it exists, but I think that we have to adapt or die. And if you look at from a competition standpoint, GameStop wants to get their price point closer to the AMC share price because they want to attract those investors. Because the more investors they have, the more utilization that they have if they want to raise capital in the future, the more base that they have for potential customers. As we've seen, people show out in groves for movies. Granted, are there people that with AMC that hate GameStop? Yes. Are there people with GameStop that hate AMC? Are people with GameStop that hate AMC? Yes. Does it make sense? 0 sense. But from a logical standpoint, in my eyes, through two businesses that are in the same bucket, if you will, I see them as competitors if they don't partner. We have this NFT space. We have this kind of virtual space trying to be battled over. And I think AMC is more using the NFT space to create hype, whereas GME is going to actually try to use it for a utility. And that's my ultimate decision, is when you compare the two, I don't think that there's a comparison. And I think if GME was the same price as AMC, the same market cap with the same exact everything else, that in a vacuum, if you reset everyone, that the majority of people would invest in GME. And I think that what it is I think people are stubborn. I think GME is more expensive. And when that becomes more affordable, I think you will see some transfer and some diversification out of AMC and into GME. When you can have one share of GME at $30, then I think you'll see somebody sell 3 shares of AMC to scoop up a share of GME that they couldn't buy before. Is that going to move the market in a huge way? No. But is it going to help support that bottom line of GME and help grow and set that base at a higher number for GME? Yeah, I think so. So that's my rant on why I think GME is slightly better, why I chose GME. And then a little bit of technical analysis of how I see GME. I'm looking at this 130, 135 level. Maybe we break it in pre-market tomorrow. I'm very curious to see what happens tomorrow. A lot of people are saying that we're going to get hammered at open. I just don't see that. I think that this is going to create a lot of hype, a lot of FOMO, and we're really going to start to see some buying pressure in this stock. I think over half the float is DRS'd. So going to be super interesting. I mean, this is very likely. I mean, I think we've witnessed the once-in-a-lifetime happening already, but I think this is potentially a second once-in-a-lifetime event. So hope you guys have a good night. Let's stay hyped for the rest of the week and enjoy it.